Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the my Adidas F50 adizero for 2014, featuring the Battle Pack theme. Now, as you can see, it comes in a standard black and white Adidas box with no labeling whatsoever. Inside the box, they do include a couple of extras. You have the option of choosing a second set of laces. The color that I went with is gold, and you guys will get a look at what these look like on the shoes a little bit later in the on-feet portion of the video. They also include an extra set of comfort insoles to go along with the lightweight ones already included in the shoes. You can see that instead of your adizero branding, it features the MI My Adidas logo right there in white, your synthetic suede liner on top, and it's the standard comfort insole that you get with the general release colorway of the F50 adizero. Again, nice to have that little extra. And they also include a My Adidas string bag. The string bag is kind of like a hemp type of material, black in color with black strings. You're going to find your blue My Adidas logo on the front, as well as the website myadidas.com on the front as well. And then on the back, you're going to find some white Adidas branding and this little open ventilated kind of area in the bag. So if your shoes are in the bag, it's going to allow them to kind of dry and just breathe a little bit while they're inside the string bag. So that's kind of a nice little feature. And other than that, all you're going to find inside the box are the shoes themselves. So I'll get these out of the box really quickly. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the My Adidas F50 adizero for 2014. You can see that this particular colorway does feature the new Battle Pack theme. These are available for $220, so they aren't actually any more expensive to customize a pair of F50 adizeros as opposed to just buying a general release colorway, which is really, really good. Normally these customization services have a premium price to go along. It's generally an extra $40 to $60 to customize a colorway, but for $220 you can get a standard Battle Pack shoe, or you can get a Battle Pack or even a blank adizero with your own custom color. So that is pretty cool. If you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, there will be a link down below in the description to the review page on my website where you will find buy it now links for a pair of custom $220 adizeros. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about what the differences are between the My Adidas variation and the standard variation of the synthetic F50. And also just wanted to mention to you guys that it only took about 3 to 3.5 weeks from when I placed my order for the shoes to actually arrive at my house. So again, that is pretty good. Can't really complain too much about that. And with that being said, let's get right into the video. To start things off, I want to talk about the colorway. Now, I want to thank you guys for submitting your own designs to me when I made that video about a month ago asking you for your input. That was something that was really helpful. There were tons of designs submitted, and I really had a hard time picking between them because there were so many good ones. I saw a lot of Argentinian themed shoes, which is something that I thought was pretty cool considering Messi is more or less the face of the F50 adizero. Argentina home was a very common theme, especially with this Battle Pack pattern where you could do a light blue with a white base, the black Adidas stripes. It looked really cool, but I thought that that one wasn't particularly original. I came across a couple that were Argentinian away jersey themed, and I thought that was really cool. I kind of took that design, put my own little twist on it, and this is the final design that I came up with. I'll flash an image on screen with these shoes pretty much right on top of the new Argentina away jersey, and to me they look very, very close. And again, I just think it's a pretty cool theme. Really, really happy with how the final colorway turned out. I honestly feel like it's one of my personal favorite custom colorways that I've ever made on a pair of soccer shoes, and I'd be curious to hear your input down below in the comments. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? Now, before we talk about the specifics of the shoe, I want to give you guys a look at what this exact colorway of the My Adidas F50 looks like in the My Adidas Customizer. So that's exactly what you're seeing on screen. This is what my colorway looks like, and you can see for the base of the shoe I went with Bright Royal, which is a darker royal blue, and then the Battle Pack pattern on top is Solar Blue, the same blue we saw on the launch colorway of the F50 adizero. Now in the customizer, there seems to be a pretty heavy contrast between the two colors. It's definitely closer together. It's not as high contrast as the white and black on the standard Battle Pack, but you can definitely tell the Battle Pack pattern is there just because it is two very different shades of blue, and the Solar Blue for the most part seems to have a metallic shine about it in the customizer. Now you can see that's exactly what I ordered, and this is what I ended up with. And as you can tell, it's not really the same as what you see in the customizer, which is more or less to be expected, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily unhappy with how they turned out. Now you can see in the speed foil rear portion of the shoe, you have your Bright Royal base, which is clearly a darker blue, and then your solar blue graphic on top. And they definitely contrast very, very well. But the Hybrid Touch front portion of the shoe, you can see that the two different shades of blue are not as far apart as they are in the rear portion of the shoe. Not sure why that is. You can see that this Bright Royal is definitely different from this one, whereas the solar blue color remains consistent on both the front and back of the shoe. Again, not a big deal, just something I thought was worth noting if you were planning on ordering this Bright Royal color. So you can see at the front, the Battle Pack theme is not quite as noticeable. When you get up close, definitely you will notice it, but from a distance it will look like more of a solid blue shoe. And again, I'm not unhappy with how they turned out. I actually really like this color scheme. And again, also keep in mind that the solar blue, while it may appear to have almost a metallic shine to it in the customizer, in person it's more of a matte finish, and then on the Battle Pack theme you're going to find this kind of clear coat kind of graphic on top of the solar blue areas of the Battle Pack theme. So because I went with that Bright Royal base, that also makes the tongue Bright Royal as well as the liner Bright Royal. And you can see the liner is a synthetic suede material as opposed to a synthetic leather, something we'll talk about more a little bit later in the video. I chose the Bright Royal laces as kind of my base lace, and then I also picked an extra set of metallic gold ones. Again, I'll show you what those look like on the shoes a little bit later in the video. The Adidas stripes, you can see I went for what they call metallic gold. For the most part, it's a matte finish, and they put this kind of clear coat over top to give it somewhat of a shine in person, and it actually looks really, really good. I'm a sucker for gold on a pair of shoes, so that's why I incorporated it into the design. And because you change the Adidas stripes to gold, it also changes the F50 branding on the tongue to gold as well, which to me looks really, really good. As my highlight color, which is essentially this underline right here on the Adidas stripes, as well as this Adizero pinstripe and the logo on the back, I went with white just because I thought it kind of tied everything together quite nicely, and again matched the Argentina away jersey theme that I was going for. And again, I think it just accents really well and pops against the darker blue background for the entire shoe. Really like the white Adidas logo on the back of the heel as well. As far as the sprint frame is concerned, the outsole, you have 4 different colorway variations to choose from in the firm ground variation: solar blue, black, white, and I believe an infrared type of orange color, or almost like a pinky red. I went for solar blue just because it matched the rest of the shoe in my opinion. I think white probably would have looked pretty good as well, but I thought that something with more of a solid blue base would have looked better. And as you guys can see, or hopefully you guys can see in the video, it does have a slight kind of sparkle to the plastic material as well, which I thought looked particularly premium on this particular colorway, something I wasn't expecting until I saw the shoes in person. As far as customization is concerned, you can see that you have Messi here in the Adidas stripe. I thought that because it's an Argentina away theme, Messi's more or less the poster boy for the F50 adizero, it would only be fitting to put Messi on the shoe. It's one of those shoes that I'm probably not going to wear anyway, so I just thought it'd be kind of a cool little display piece to have a Messi F50 adizero in a custom colorway. Now, if you guys notice in the customizer, again, I'll flash an image on screen. It looks like the Messi is more of a bright royal color, but if you actually read what it says in the customizer, it tells you that it's laser etched. So as you can see, they basically printed on the Adidas stripes and everything on the shoe as far as colors are concerned, and then they etched out the name Messi, which I thought was pretty cool. In all honesty, it doesn't look very premium, but because it is actually etched out, it's not going to rub off or anything like that. And it's actually pretty cool that they etch it as opposed to just painting on or kind of screen printing on an extra graphic. So it's not quite as vibrant as I perhaps would have hoped, but nonetheless it still looks really, really cool. And keep in mind that you don't really have an option to change the color because it is actually laser etched. It ended up being white because that's what the highlight color ended up being. So I think that depending on the highlight color that you choose, that's what your laser etching is going to look like. So if I picked red as the highlight color, the Messi would have appeared red on this gold swoosh, so please keep that in mind. The other customization option that you have here is a flag, basically a country flag, right here on the top of the tongue. Again, because it's an Argentina themed shoe, I went with the Argentinian flag. And again, it's just a little circle flag. It's basically like a harder plastic sticker, not a super hard plastic. It still has some flexibility to it that they essentially glue on top of the tongue. Again, it doesn't have the most premium vibe about it. The actual kind of graphic they have on here isn't the clearest. But it still looks pretty cool, especially from a distance. And again, it's not something that I'm really going to complain too much about. It's not any extra money to put it on there. You can, of course, leave it blank if you so choose as well. And again, it's a pretty cool shoe, and considering it's not any more expensive than just getting a standard general release colorway, again, it's difficult to complain about the customization features. And for the most part, I'm really, really happy with how they turned out, and I like how many different options Adidas actually gives you as far as colors go. As far as the tech specs, the general performance, and the quality of the materials are concerned, if you guys want more detailed information on everything you need to know about the F50 adizero for 2014, I would strongly recommend checking out the full written review on my website, linked down below in the description. But for the sake of the video, we're going to go over all the differences and all the minor changes that Adidas has made to the My Adidas variation of the adizero versus the general release colorways, because there are some minor differences. Now, as you can see, you can only go with one variation of the F50 through the My Adidas service. That is the standard variation as opposed to the Messi one. Now, what I'm getting at here is that the rear portion is speed foil and the front portion is hybrid touch, just like the general release colorways like this one right here, which features that lime green color, right? Hybrid touch at the front, speed foil at the back, whereas the Messi Battle Pack variation, as you can see, is hybrid touch all the way around, including the tongue. There's no speed foil on the shoe whatsoever. Now, I get a lot of questions from time to time asking me what is the actual difference in performance between these two variations, and the honest answer that I give most people is that I don't notice a difference at all. They feel very, very similar to me. This rear portion of the shoe, the speed foil definitely gets the job done, and again, you're not going to notice a real difference in comfort, touch, or just overall performance between either of these two variations. So again, not a big deal if you ask me. The hybrid touch is still nice and thin, extremely soft from right out of the box, where the speed foil is a little bit stiffer and makes for a nice kind of supportive material at the rear portion of the shoe, and again, just keeps everything nice and stable despite the shoe's ultra lightweight construction. You have a central lacing system, as you can see. The hybrid touch has a synthetic leather finish, leather grain finish about it, and then you can see that the Battle Pack colorway does have these little kind of rubberized grip areas on the front, kind of to replace the Dribble Text texturing that you would normally have on a general release colorway. So again, the overall feel is still very, very similar, regardless of which variation of the synthetic adizero that you go for. As far as the heel liner is concerned, you can see that on the My Adidas variation, it's actually a synthetic suede material as opposed to a synthetic leather that you find on pretty much all of the synthetic F50 adizeros. The only adizero to feature a synthetic suede liner thus far has been the actual leather variation. I have a whiteout colorway right here, and you can see this one does feature that same synthetic suede material, which to me just feels really, really nice, and I actually prefer it to the standard synthetic leather. So that is a nice little perk of the My Adidas variation. And again, considering it doesn't cost any extra to customize your own colorway, it is a nice benefit of the My Adidas F50 adizero. As far as the sprint frame is concerned, again, it is identical to the standard F50. It's really what makes this shoe so lightweight. You have your rounded off one-piece heel counter attached to your sole plate. The sole plate features your My Coach pod, so if you do have the My Coach chip, you can slot it in the middle. Your 4 triangular studs in the heel, and then the new bladed stud pattern here in the forefoot, which actually performs really, really well. So again, if you were interested in a pair of F50 adizeros, to me the synthetic variation is definitely the way to go. And if you are using the My Adidas customization service, you can only actually customize the synthetic F50 and not the leather one. So that is something to keep in mind. But again, synthetic is the way to go this year for the F50 adizero. And with that being said, let's move on now to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, both the standard and My Adidas variations of the synthetic F50 feel extremely lightweight. It's part of the appeal of this line of shoes from Adidas. So we're going to see what the actual difference is between the two shoes. So we'll start off with the standard colorway release. Keep in mind that both of these shoes are in brand new condition and in a size 9 US. I'm going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that this colorway weighs in at 5.7 ounces. So again, very, very lightweight, going to provide that ultra lightweight, weightless feel when the shoes are both in hand as well as on your feet. So we'll take this off the scale. We'll throw on the My Adidas colorway. Again, brand new condition, size 9 US, exactly the same as the slime green one. And you can see that these ones weigh in at 5.8 ounces, so 0.1 ounces more than the standard colorway release. I would assume that's because of the extra graphic on top. You got your Argentina flag logo right there. The synthetic suede liner may add a little bit of extra weight, but again, 0.1 ounces is essentially nothing. You're not going to notice the difference in hand. You're not going to notice the difference on feet. And again, if you're looking for that ultra lightweight F50 adizero feel, regardless of which colorway you get in the synthetic upper variation, they're going to feel about the same in terms of the overall weight. So definitely not something to worry about if you're planning on ordering a My Adidas version of the F50 adizero. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video is concerned. I'm going to move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes look and of course what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the My Adidas F50 adizeros on feet. You can see that I swapped in the extra set of gold laces just so you guys can see what they look like. I think my preference is still the blue ones just because I like something a little bit more subtle, but I think that the contrast of the Adidas stripes and the gold laces looks really good as well. Leave your opinions down below in the comments which laces look better. In terms of the overall fit and feel of the My Adidas F50 versus a standard pair, they feel pretty much the same. The only minor difference that I noticed upon putting them on is that the shape of the tongue at the top is a little bit different. You can see it's kind of more rounded off as opposed to having that little slit cutout. And it's also slightly longer, which is actually a change that I personally prefer. It makes them a little bit more comfortable and it lets you see that little customization, in this case the Argentinian flag, at all times, even once you've tied the laces up, which normally that would get covered up if the tongue was a little bit shorter. But overall, the F50 adizero is a surprisingly comfortable shoe considering how lightweight and thin it actually is. The hybrid touch is very soft and flexible from right out of the box, and what's great is that after a couple hours of wear time, it softens up even more and even has the ability to stretch ever so slightly. So they're really, really comfortable after, like I said, a couple hours of wear time. In terms of the overall fit, it is a tighter fitting shoe, so if you do have wide feet, it's probably best to stay away. You're not going to get enough stretch out of the shoe, and for the most part, the sprint frame base in the midfoot is relatively narrow. There's a decent amount of width in the forefoot and toe box, although it is still a tighter fitting shoe. But again, the midfoot, like I said, is a little bit more snug. So if you have excessively wide feet, it's probably best to stay away. But again, if you fit into previous variations of the F50, these ones fit that much better and will still fit your feet. In terms of sizing, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US, just like I would wear in a standard pair of F50s. And again, in the My Adidas variation, the fit is absolutely perfect. So just like the standard F50, if you're planning on ordering a custom colorway, I would strongly recommend going true to size. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the My Adidas F50 adizero. Again, the quality of the shoe is right on par, if not even a little bit better than the standard colorway releases. They show up in a timely manner. Again, mine only took 3 weeks to arrive from when I ordered them, which is relatively fast for a customization service, and it doesn't cost you any extra to get a custom color, which is really, really nice and something you don't see very often at all. So again, if you were planning on getting a pair of F50 adizeros, I would strongly take into consideration that you can get your own custom color, whether you have an idea in mind or even want to get a pair of shoes that matches your team's kit. Using the My Adidas customization service is definitely something that I can strongly recommend. So if you guys are interested in getting a pair of these for yourself, maybe even want this exact colorway, there'll be a link down below in the description to the review page on my website. You'll find buy it now links for all of the My Adidas products, as well as the full written review of the F50 adizero, and even the high quality images of this exact pair to give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person. Some of the close-up details that you may not have seen as well as you could have seen in today's video. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. Again, the link is down below in the description. If you have any questions or suggestions, be sure to leave those down below in the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.